Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let me begin with a question. Have you ever wanted to do research but didn't know where to start? Or perhaps you had many ideas but couldn't decide which one would make a good research project? If your answer is yes, don't worry, you are not alone. In fact, one of the biggest challenge faced by the researchers is not conducting the research but selecting the right research problem. In this video, we will learn how to choose a good research problem using the simple examples and practical tips. Before selecting a research problem, the first thing you should ask yourself is, do I really care about this topic? Research is a long journey. It may take months or even years to complete. If you choose a topic simply because your friend suggested it or because it looks fashionable, you may lose interest halfway through. On the other hand, if you genuinely enjoy the subject, you will remain motivated even when the work becomes difficult. For example, if you are interested in genetics, studying genetic disorders will probably keep you more engaged than working on a topic that doesn't excite you. Motivation can come from two sources. First one is the intrinsic motivation that comes from within. You study a topic because you enjoy it and you are curious about it. Extrinsic motivation comes from outside, such as encouragement from your supervisor, employer, or funding agency. Although both types of motivation are useful, research is usually more enjoyable and successful when it is driven by your personal interest. Therefore, always try to choose a topic that you are passionate about. Now, let me ask you another question. Have you ever had a good idea while reading a research paper or attending a seminar only to forget it later? This happens to everyone, almost everyone. That's why experienced researchers recommend maintaining a research notebook or idea file. Whenever an interesting question or idea comes to your mind, write it down immediately. Many successful research projects begin as a single note recorded in a notebook. Interestingly, experienced researchers often have opposite problem from the beginners. Instead of having no ideas, they have too many interesting ideas. The real challenge is selecting the one that is most important, practical and meaningful. Therefore, don't rush into the choosing the first topic that comes into mind. Compare several ideas before making your final decision. Another important suggestion is to maintain continued focus in your research career. Let me explain this with an example. Suppose one year you work on diabetes, the next year on fish biology, and then on artificial intelligence, and later on climate change. Although each project may be interesting, people may find it difficult to identify your area of expertise. In contrast, if you continue working on genetics or cancer biology for several years, you will gradually become known as an expert in that particular field. Building expertise in one area strengthens your research profile and career. No wonder, where do research topics come from? The answer is almost everywhere. Your classroom lecture, practical classes, and coursework often raises the interesting questions. While reading the research articles, you may notice gaps where further studies are needed. Many scientific papers even include a section titled Future Research or Suggestions for the Future Research. These are excellent sources of the research ideas. Sometimes research problems arise directly from the professional experience. Imagine you are working in a hospital and notice that the patients frequently miss follow up appointments. You may ask why this is happening. This simple observation can become an excellent research project. Similarly, teachers may study new teaching methods, librarians may evaluate reading programs, and public health professionals may investigate disease outbreaks. Everyday problems often becomes valuable research questions. Another excellent source of research idea is replication studies. Let me ask you this question. If a study conducted in another country found that new teaching methods improve the student performance, will the same method work in your university? The only way to know is to repeat the study under your own conditions. Replication strengthens the scientific evidence because it tells us where the previous findings remain true in different populations, places, or time period. Once you have several possible topics, how do you choose the best one? The first criteria is your enthusiasm. If you are excited about the topic today, you are more likely to remain interested throughout the research. The second criterion is its importance to society. Ask yourself, will this research help solve a problem or improve the people's lives? Research that benefits the society is often more meaningful and receives greater attention. Another important consideration is whether the topic supports your career goals. Suppose you want to become a cancer researcher, conducting a research in oncology will strengthen your expertise and improve future opportunities. Your research should build on your existing knowledge and skills rather than forcing you to start from scratch every time. Now, think about the practical side of the research. Can you actually conduct this study? If your participants live in another country or require expensive laboratory equipment that you don't have, the project may not be feasible. Therefore, consider whether the study population is accessible, whether the participants are likely to cooperate, and whether you have the required facilities and resources. Cost is another important factor. Let me ask you a practical question. If your research budget is only 20,000 rupees, should you design a project that requires traveling across the country? Probably not. Every research project involves expenses such as travel, printing, questionnaires, laboratory chemicals, statistical analysis, computer software, or publication charges. A good researcher always prepares a realistic budget before starting the study. The good news is that research costs can often be reduced. You can apply a small grants, seek support from your institution, collaborate with other researchers, or choose study design that requires fewer resources. For example, studies based on published literature or publicly available databases often cost much less than the large field surveys. Ethics should never be forgotten while selecting a research problem. If your study involves human participants, you must protect their privacy, obtain informed consent, and ensure that the research does not cause harm. A scientifically interesting project may still be rejected if it raises serious ethical concerns. Another important question is, will my research contribute something new? The good research should either fill a gap in the existing literature, extend previous knowledge, or answer an important unanswered question. Simply repeating work without a clear purpose adds little value to science. Finally, remember that choosing a research problem is both scientific and personal decision. Do not select the very first topic that comes to your mind. Instead, compare two to three possible topics and choose the one that is interesting, feasible, affordable, ethically acceptable, and capable of producing meaningful results. Your topic should be small enough to complete successfully but important enough to contribute to new knowledge. Before ending, here is one last thought. Research does not truly end when you finish collecting data. A successful research project should eventually be shared with others through a thesis, a dissertation, a conference presentation, or scientific publication. Knowledge becomes valuable only when it is communicated to scientific community and society. So before I conclude, let me ask you one final question. If you are starting your first research project today, what topic would you choose and why? Write your answer in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe to channel for more easy understandable videos on research methodology, scientific writing and biomedical sciences. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.